So, former Mayor Lori Lightfoot signed into law a measure that will expand protections for undocumented immigrants that have been stalled by efforts by former President Donald Trump to increase deportations and punish Chicago for shielding them from immigration agents. Chicago police are now prohibited from cooperating with federal immigration agents in all cases. Officers have been allowed to assist federal immigration agents if they ask for information about individuals listed as gang members in city databases, those who have been charged or convicted of a felony or are wanted on a warrant issued by the judge. Being a welcoming city means being a city that embraces people equally with open arms, where no one has to fear being their authentic self, walking down the street, doing business, earning a living, and taking care of their family. Lightfoot said at the unusual signing ceremony, "This is the right thing to do." The 41-8 vote on January 27, 2021 came after an emotional debate during which several aldermen shared their family stories of immigrating to America, while others said they frequently worked to protect undocumented immigrants from the threats posed by Trump administration and saw the toll on Chicago families and communities. Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa, 35th Ward, who has been pushing for changes to the city's sanctuary city ordinance for 5 years, said all Chicagoans are now just a little bit safer. Alderman Mike Rodriguez, 22nd Ward, said the measure should give undocumented Chicagoans comfort that if they call the police, they will not risk deportation. Lightfoot shared the spotlight Tuesday with two of her biggest critics on the city council, Ramirez Rosas and Alderman Rosanna Rodriguez Sanchez, 33rd Ward. Both are members of the Chicago chapter of the Democratic Socialists of America, which called for Lightfoot's resignation less than 2 hours before the news conference. This was 2021. The measure would also change outdated and enforced language in the city code that refers to the holders of some city licenses as citizens, even though citizenship isn't a requirement to hold those licenses. In addition, the measure brings the city rules in line with state law by requiring Chicago Police Department officials to review and certify within 90 days applications for visas available to undocumented immigrants who help law enforcement agencies solve crimes. In January 2020, the City Council voted to make Lightfoot's prohibition on allowing immigration and customs enforcement agents to access the city's gang databases permanent and to require city officials to document all requests for assistance from the federal government. In addition, the city restricted cases where city officers and officials can assist ICE and required officials to develop sanctuary policies for all city facilities to prevent immigration agents from detaining undocumented immigrants on city property. The city's sanctuary status dates back to 1985 when Mayor Harold Washington issued an executive order prohibiting city employees from enforcing federal immigration laws. It became law in 2006 and was reaffirmed after the 2016 election of Trump. The measure will end a long journey to fulfill Chicago's promise of being a more open and welcoming city for all our residents. A journey that started when Harold Washington was mayor, Lightfoot said. Now, several aldermen who voted against the changes said they will make Chicago less safe by protecting undocumented immigrants who commit crimes and fuel an increase in crime across the city at a time when shootings, murders, and carjacking are surging. Lightfoot said that was a bogus argument with no basis in fact. Now, you don't understand, people do understand, but this is bigger than us. Okay, this is way bigger than us. The fact that all these illegal immigrants can come over here and can do whatever they want to do because that order was signed in 2021 off of basically Lori Lightfoot was doing some backdoor deals. And it was doing some backdoor deals, and Rosa, Ramirez, and Sanchez knew that she was doing some deals, probably got wind of her doing some deals, and held that against her. So what they gave her was an ultimatum. You're going to put this in effect so we can get the Mexican cartel to come over here with these drugs, and nobody's not going to ask no questions at all. Or we're going to expose whatever it was. And it probably had to do with housing and how she gave so much money to the Jews. She took care of the Jews while she was in office. Okay? Like when it came to that, to anything with construction, anything. You know, her wife was Jewish. She just really, that was her network, and that's what she really focused on. Same with Tony Preckwinkle. Preckwinkle was married to a Jew for a long time, and they were just all that, whatever. But the fact that the Chicago police and ICE can't work together makes no sense. Like, what's the purpose of this still being a sanctuary city, right? You want us to understand this and let this be a sanctuary city, but public safety can't do their job when it comes to making the city safe. That doesn't make any sense. So there's a Laquan McDonald Act. The HB 6616 law, aka the Laquan McDonald Act, it was tabled November 30th, 2016. And that was the act that, if it was put in place, we would have been able to recall the mayor, recall any alderman, recall the state's attorney. And that's something that was tabled in 2016, which was 7 years ago, and something that needs to be brought back up. And the only reason why it was tabled was because that's major. You know, like, you know, that happened after the whole situation with Laquan McDonald when they covered that up. So Rahm got in trouble. You know, the state's attorney got in trouble. Like, everybody got caught up in that. You know, so that was an act that was a law that was tabled, and no one never brought it back up or talked about it. And right now, it's needed. Brandon Johnson needs to be out of office. He has no idea what he's doing. The Democratic Socialists are running City Hall. They have no idea what to do and doing, and it's the Mexicans who are doing this with a dash of Puerto Ricans. And they are turning this into a dictatorship in the United States of America. Like, take that over to Venezuela, Puerto Rico, Mexico, but don't do that in Chicago. You know, that's not welcoming. You're trying to change a whole culture in Chicago and make it something that at the end of the day, y'all are going to hurt yourselves, because everybody's upset. Nobody is rocking with the Brandon Johnson administration. You know,
big business. Come with a real ass nigga.